Hi friends, welcome to the channel GIB and CIB Made Simple. Today we are diving into our IIBF Certified Credit Professional Unit number 4. We will discuss the theory portion along with MCQs. The chapter name is Credit Delivery. Our methodology of study will be the same. We will first of all see the important concept, definition, key ideas, formulas, one-line example, followed by some MCQs, some formula flashcard, and finally MCQs. So this way we will cover the entire chapter. So before going into the chapter, these are the topics which we have to study. First of all, we will see the objectives, introductions, type of facilities, modes of delivery, credit trust, credit acquisition, statutory and regulatory restrictions. So let's get started with our first topic, that is credit delivery system and types of facilities. So friends, we will talk about two important banking concepts. The first one is the credit delivery system. You know what it is? So basically you can think of it like this. Bank have to make sure that money reaches the right people at the right time. So that is called, money means credit, right? So credit reaches the right people. It reaches the right people at the right time, right? So that is what bank have to make sure. So this system that is called credit delivery system, it ensures that business and industries get enough fund when they need them so that economy keeps growing. That's called credit delivery system. So bank ensure timely right people at the right time, timely delivery, adequate availability of credit to the productive sector of the economy. So the key idea is that the goal is to help the economy builders like industries and business stay competitive while following the RBI rule. So the main objective is to support economic builders and maintain competitiveness under the regulatory guideline. Means to help economic builders like industries and business stay competitive while following the RBI rule. So the formula or the rule is very simple. Timely credit, please understand. Timely credit plus adequate credit. Timely plus adequate credit, both of them combined together. So this ensures efficient credit delivery. So timely plus adequate credit means efficient credit delivery system. Let me give you one example. Suppose a factory needs money to buy raw material. So the bank provides fund as per the RBI guideline. So here you can see one example of it. Suppose there is a factory and this particular factory, they need money. Factory need money. For what? For buying the raw material. So the bank provides fund as per the RBI guideline. Now, let's look at the types of credit facility. So, bank don't give money in just one way. They have different options to suit the different need. So that is the point. Different forms of credit offered by bank to meet varied financial need. What are the basic types? Like, CC, OD, demand loan, right? These are the basic types of loan. So each of these has variations. Like, so in the case of cash credit, we have lines of credit. In the case of OD, we have bill finance. So that is the variations within it, right? So the quick formula is that, basic type plus variation, when combined together, it becomes customized credit facility. Basic type plus variation, combined together, it becomes customized credit facility. So you can remember it like this, COD. There is a way to remember it, COD. That means cash credit, overdraft, demand loan, right? Think of it cash over the demand. This way you can remember it. So for examination, just remember that always link the basic type with its variation. This help you recall during the exam. Always link basic type with its variation. So the rules that we have covered so far is that, timely credit plus adequate credit, we have efficient system. Basic type plus variation, credit facility. Now let's apply these things in MCQs. Which of the following is a variation of cash credit? Options are bill finance, line of credit, working capital loan, demand draft. The correct answer is line of credit. Line of credit is a variation of the cash credit. Please understand. Next question. Overdraft facility is commonly associated with line of credit? No. That is cash credit. Bill finance? No. Actually, yes, bill finance is correct. Overdraft is associated with bill finance. Just now we have discussed. Now let's talk about the loan system and credit facility, right? Let's discuss it. So now we will break down two important banking concepts, loan system and credit facility. So what is the loan system for delivery of banking credit? So bank want borrower to maintain discipline when taking the big loan. Bank want borrower to maintain discipline to ensure credit discipline, right? While taking the big loan. So RBI has a rule. What is the rule? If the working capital limit of 150 crore or more. So what does the RBI rule say? that if the fund-based working capital limit of 150 crore plus or more, at least 60% of that must be the loan component. So the quick formula is that loan component should exceed 60% of the sanctioned fund-based limit. So that is called loan system for delivery of bank credit. So bank want borrower to maintain discipline while taking big loan. So the rule is that if the company has a working capital limit of 150 crore or more, at least 60% of that must be in the form of loan component. So let me give you one example to make it more clear. Suppose the sanction limit is 200 crore. Obviously it exceeds 150 crore. So the loan component should exceed the, what is the 200 crore 60%? So that is 120 crore. So loan component should exceed the 120 crore. That's it. Why this rule? Because it ensures that borrower don't rely too much on flexible credit like cash credit and maintain proper repayment discipline. Right. So just now I told you now that basically we have discussed the two types. The one is the cash credit, which is line of credit, and overdraft, which is the kind of bill finance. Cash credit, overdraft, demand loan, these are the different types. So 60% should be the loan, right? Not cash credit. So these are cash credit are quite flexible. So ensuring that 60% in the form of loan, it makes sure that borrower don't rely too much on flexible credit like cash credit. So it should be in the form of loan. When I say loan, it means demand loan, it means term loan, like that. It should not be in the form of CC or OD like that, because these are the flexible options. Right. Now the next type is advanced types of credit facility. So apart from the basic facility, just now we have discussed some basic facility. So basic facility includes CC, OD. So bank also offer advanced option for specific needs. Like bank may offer term loan, letter of credit, bank guarantee. So each one has the variation. Each one has the variation. Like the one variation of term loan I can give you. Term loan variation I can give you DPG, deferred payment guarantee. One variation of letter of credit is standby LC. Standby LC. One variation of BG I can give you is performance guarantee. Right. These are the variations. So term loan exam variation is DPG, LC variation is standby LC, BG variation is PG. So the quick formula is that basic type plus variation combined together, we have customized credit facility. So remember 60% loan component rule for borrower with 150 crore plus working capital limit. So let's do some MCQs. So the first thing we have discussed, loan component should exceed the 60% of the fund based limit, and basic type plus variation we have the credit facility. First question, what is the minimum loan component required for a borrower with 150 crore working capital limit? So WCL is how much? 150 crore. Question is asking you to compute minimum loan component. So that is how much? 60% of that minimum. That is how much? I think 90 crore. 60%. In terms of percentage, they are asking, so 60%. Which of the following is a variation of term loan, commercial paper, DPG, standby LC, bill finance? The correct answer is DPG. DPG is a variation of term loan. That is called deferred payment guarantee. Now, let's have a look at the next concept. The next concept is guidelines on enhancing credit supply for large borrower. So we will simplify RBI guideline for large borrower and how bank can lend to them. So there are two key ideas. The first idea is the specified borrower, and the second thing is the incremental lending rule. So let's get started with our first concept, which is a specified borrower. So what is the meaning of a specified borrower? Please understand. If a company has an aggregated fund-based credit limit, that's called ASCL. Right, please understand. What is the meaning of aggregated fund-based credit limit? It's called ASCL. So if the company has ASCL of more than 10,000 crore from the bank, it is called a specified borrower. So if a company or if a borrower has ASCL exceeding 10,000 crore, so that is called, a specified borrower. Right. So the formula is very simple. Right? That a specified borrower having ASCL greater than 10,000 crore. One example I can give you, a corporate with 12,000 crore ASCL is called a specified borrower. This is the example of. So ASCL should be higher than 10,000 crore for a borrower to be called as a specified borrower. Then we have the incremental lending rule. What does it say? So when such borrower raises fund beyond ASCL, bank can only lend 50% of that extra amount. Right. The rest must be come from market instrument like bond, debenture or preference share. So ASCL more than 10,000 crore are called a specified borrower. So when such kind of borrower, that's called a specified borrower, raises extra fund beyond ASCL, that is 10,000 crore, right? So when they raises fund beyond ASCL full form, please remember, it is the aggregate fund based credit limit. When they raise fund more than their ASCL, so the rule says that only 50% can be lent by the bank within NPLL. That means when that's called incremental borrowing lending rule. When such borrower raises extra fund beyond ASCL, bank can lend only 50% of that extra amount. 50% of extra amount only bank can lend. That's it. So the quick formula is very simple. Bank lending should be less than or equal to the 50% of the incremental fund. That's called NPLL. Let me give you one example. Let's suppose that incremental fund is 2000 crore. So now you think about it. Incremental fund is 2000 crore. So bank lending should be less than or equal to 50% of the incremental fund. So what is 50% of incremental fund? That is 1000 crore. So bank can lend maximum 1000 crore. That's it. So the memory trick is that always ASCL is larger than 10,000 crore are called specified borrower. First point. So you see the benchmark is 10,000 crore. If it exceeds 10,000 crore, ASCL exceeds 10,000 crore, that's called specified borrower. And incremental lending 50% by bank raised via market instrument. Please understand. So these are the things which we have just to rules. A specified borrower having ASCL larger than 10,000 crore and bank lending should be less than equal to the 50% of the incremental fund. The memory trick is 10K 50 rule. 10,000 crore threshold and 50% limit. Now let's do some MCQs. A borrower with ASCL of 12,000 crore is termed as. So see, we have to see ASCL of 12,000 crore. So as you can see, this 12,000 crore is exceeding the 10,000 crore. So if it exceeds 10,000 crore, that's called a specified borrower. And second question, if a specified borrower raised 2,000 crore above ASCL, how much a bank can lend? See, the benchmark is ASCL. Suppose this is ASCL. Above that, whatever they have raised, whatever they are want to raise, so 50% of that amount should be in the form of that bank can lend, and the rest should be in the form of market instrument. So above ASCL, how much? 2,000 crore. What is 50% of 2,000 crore? It is 1,000 crore. So 1,000 crore only bank can lend. Sorry, the B number option, 1,000 crore. Raised 1,000 crore has to be lent through market instrument. So that's the rule, that bank can only lend 50% of the incremental fund as per the NPLL rule. I hope till now it is crystal clear. Friends, if you want to clear your concept like this way, so for the entire CCP subject, you can enroll in our CCP comprehensive program. In the comprehensive program, many aspirants have cleared the paper, having clear clarity of the concept, and this will not only help you in banking, in the examination, it will also help you in a practical banking life. The thing which I am explaining you, say same thing have been explained 2 to 3 times. This will help you memorize. Please WhatsApp me on this particular number or check out the link in the description section. The course name is CCP Comprehensive Course. It includes PDF, videos, mock test, capsule content, as well as previous year question. All these things you get at one place, and surely you can clear the examination in the first attempt itself. Case studies are also included, which includes numerical question itself. Now friends, have a look at the next concept. So incremental lending rule, I hope it is crystal clear. Now let's talk about the modes of credit delivery. Yes, modes of credit delivery. Now friends, there is a RBI circular on multiple banks. Let's have a look at it. So what does the circular say? So we will understand two things: multiple bank and consortium lending. So imagine a borrower taking a loan from 2 or more banks. So suppose there is a borrower who is taking loan from 2 or more banks. So RBI say in the year 2008 that bank must share information about such borrower, right? Bank must share information about such borrower, right? Every quarter, which means every 3 months, banks would exchange detail of the loan given. So every quarter, banks would exchange detail of the loan given, and borrower must declare which bank they are borrowing from. So RBI instructed the bank to strengthen the information sharing about borrower availing credit for multiple bank. So the thing is that imagine a borrower taking loan from 2 or more banks. RBI say that bank must share information about such borrower. right? So bank has to share information about such borrower. First point, every 3 months, that means every quarter, right? Bank should exchange detail of the loan given. That's called, quarterly information exchange, as you can see they are mentioned here. And borrower must declare which bank they are borrowing from. That's called borrower declaration, right? So quarterly information exchange plus borrower declaration, when combined together, this is RBI compliance. So bank must share information about such borrower that they have taken more than two or loan from two or more banks. Every quarter, bank should exchange detail of the loan given, and borrower must declare which bank they are borrowing from. So it's borrower responsibility also and bank responsibility also. So for example, suppose bank A and bank B both give loan to Mr. X. Suppose these two banks give loan to Mr. X, right? So Mr. X loan detail, so they must share Mr. X loan detail. Mr. X loan detail must be shared every quarter. So every quarter Mr. X loan detail must be shared. That is the point, right? That's called RBI circular on multiple banking. Next thing we have is the due diligence requirement. So what does it say? Please understand. Before giving a big loan, new big loan, bank must get a due diligence report from a professional, preferably from a company secretary for a statutory compliance. Why? To ensure transparency and to reduce the fraud risk. For these two reasons, bank must obtain a due diligence report from a professional for a statutory compliance. Let me give you one example. So the rule is that, due diligence report is mandatory for fresh sanction. Right. So due diligence report is mandatory for fresh sanction. For example, suppose if a bank plan to sanction 500 crore, so it need a CS certified due diligence report. So always remember this combination: borrower declaration, quarterly information exchange, due diligence report, when combined together for multiple banking compliance. That's called QDD, right? QDD, Q for quarterly information exchange, due diligence, right? Declaration, that's called D. So the rule is that quarterly information exchange plus declaration RBI compliance, due diligence report mandatory for new credit. That's called QDD rule. Now let's do some MCQs. First question: RBI 2008 circular mandate bank to stop multiple banking, share borrow information quarterly, increase tier 1 capital, reduce exposure limit. So RBI 2008 circular says that bank must share borrower information quarterly. Option B is correct. Who should preferably issue the due diligence report? Chartered accountant, company secretary? Yes, company secretary. They should issue the due diligence report. Now friends, these rules help the bank avoid fraud and maintain transparency while when borrower deals with multiple banks. Let's talk about the consortium lending. So let's break down the consortium lending, a concept which is often used in big loan in simple terms. So imagine a borrower who needs a huge amount of money. Let's say a borrower needs 1000 crore. Instead of one bank giving the entire loan, a group of banks join together to provide the fund. So this group is called, consortium. So when I say consortium, it means what, that instead of a single bank giving the entire loan, a group of banks join together to provide the loan, to provide the fund, which we call as consortium. So, the large credit needs of a borrower are financed by a group of banks forming a consortium. Now, the question is why the bank does it, right? So why do the bank do it? So this is a very, very basic question. Why do the bank do it? Because, it shares the risk among the bank, right? So consortium lending, it very well that borrower needs huge amount of money, let's say 1000 crore. So one bank is not giving the entire loan, rather a group of banks join together to provide the fund. So that particular group is what we call as consortium. So consortium is basically what, consortium is a group. Consortium means group. So why do bank do it? Because it shares the risk among the bank. It use collective resource. It improve loan appraisal quality. These are the key reasons why bank do it. Collective use of banking resource, spread risk among the bank, improve appraisal quality, right? So the quick formula is consortium means group of bank, joint lending for large credit. For example, suppose 5 banks together finance 1000 crore for a company. So that is the consortium lending. Now the second part is documentation and restriction. Let's have a look. All banks in the consortium must agree and sign documents, right? That's called joint documentation is required. All the banks, please understand, all the banks, they must agree. They must agree and they must sign the joint document, right? The borrower cannot open account or take loan from non-member bank without consortium approval. You can see, borrower cannot open account or avail facility from non-member bank without consortium approval. Right. So the formula is that, joint documentation is required from all the consortium member before execution, and members should concurs. Right. Right. So valid consortium lending. Let me give you one example. So suppose before opening a new account, the borrower need approval from all the consortium bank before opening a new account. So that is what I'm telling you. Consortium lending means collective financing. Two or more bank have joint hand to finance, plus risk sharing, plus joint documentation. All these three combined together, this consortium lending. That is called, CJ rule. CJ rule. Right. So consortium plus joint documents. The question is, so the concept is consortium is group of bank plus large credit. Joint documentation plus member approval is equal to compliance. Now the question is, what is the main purpose of consortium lending? Right, that's the question. Reduce tier 1 capital? No. Spread risk among bank? Yes, correct. Avoid RBI guideline? No. Actually, this is the reason. Spread risk among bank. Now the next question is, why before executing consortium lending document, bank must. So before executing consortium lending document, what bank must do? Get RBI approval, obtain borrower declaration only, obtain concurrence from all the consortium member. Exactly. This is what is required. So before executing consortium lending document, bank must, bank must obtain concurrence from all the consortium member. Option number C is correct. So consortium lending is all about teamwork among bank for big loan, ensuring safety and compliance. I hope it is crystal clear. Now friends, let's talk about the role of consortium leader. What is the role of consortium leader? Let's understand. In a consortium, one bank can act like a leader, right? A consortium leader, that's called consortium leader. So what does the leader do? So leader, coordinate meetings, and what they do? They handle documentation. But remember, the leader cannot approve a loan alone. Please understand. What the leader do? They coordinate meeting, they handle documentation, but they cannot handle entire thing alone. They cannot approve loan alone because decisions are quite collective. Decisions are very collective. So leader can act like a coordinator, no additional authority. Right. Let me give you one example. Like the leader organize meeting but cannot sanction a loan without other bank consent. So they can organize meeting but they cannot approve loan alone. Second concept is, what is the RBI guideline on asset classification? So when a borrower repay the loan, the money must be shared among all the consortium bank. Right. Try to understand what I'm telling you. That suppose there is a borrower and that borrower repay the loan. The money must be shared among all the consortium bank. Why? Because RBI say asset classification depends on each bank recovery record. So asset classification depends on recovery record of each bank. So if one bank get money but does not share, other bank may mark the account as NPA in their book. So the rule is that recovery record plus share transfer, this means proper asset classification. Suppose, for example, bank A get repayment but does not pass bank B share. So bank B treat the account as NPA. So please understand that consortium leader is coordinator only, and asset classification depends on recovery sharing among the bank. So two things we have just discussed is that leader act like a coordinator and classification means recovery sharing. Please understand. So for 1 or 1 2 MCQ, let's do. What is the role of consortium leader? Approve loan independently? No. Coordinate meeting among documentation? Exactly. Next question. Under RBI guideline, asset classification in the consortium lending depends on. So under our RBI guideline, asset classification in consortium lending depends on recovery record, right? Recovery record of individual bank. That's option number B. Recovery record of individual bank. Under RBI guideline, asset classification in consortium lending depends on recovery record of individual bank. Option number B is the correct answer. So friends, that is the free part. The rest part will be